Stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone. This is October 3rd. If you have any questions or comments, come up to this microphone here, give us your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind, please. Call a roll.
Cedar.
Here.
Kinsvater.
Here.
Kleeman.
Here.
Kufa.
Here.
Laporte.
Here.
Hall.
Present.
Bolts.
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you. We'll go to consent agenda A, City Council minutes of September 19th, 2022, regular meeting, recommendation approved. B is the Historical Commission minutes of August 11th, 2022, meeting recommendation received, and the Housing Commission minutes of August 16th, 2022, meeting recommendation received.
Motion to approve A through C as presented. Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's go to number 5. A, Resolution 2221, St. Clair County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Is that Russ?
Hi, Russ DeCrease from St. Clair County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Here on behalf of Justin Westmiller, the director of the office. I was basically told that I had about 60 minutes to give you an overview of what it is. So I'll try and keep it real brief. Pretty much this is the 4th rendition of this plan. We're required federally to redo this every 5 years. And then the local entities, be it townships, villages, cities, are able to sign on to the plan. And if you sign on to the plan, that means that you are able to physically apply for grants. If you are not signed on to it, you're not able to apply for a lot of the grants that are hazard mitigation related. What it basically is it goes through and it identifies the risks in our region and specifically in our county, because the issues are going to differ between here, Wayne County, or Iron Mountain, Michigan. Here we have a lot of issues with flooding. We have a lot of issues with pipelines. We have infrastructure such as the rail tunnel, such as the bridge, such as Chemical Valley over in Canada. So this actually goes through, identifies those specific issues, kind of ranks, orders them. We actually had meetings with all of the first responders as well as public comment to actually gather and rank all of the specific issues. And then it gives very general and overview style recommendations. For instance, flooding is obviously only in the areas along the riverfront, the lakes, especially in the south end. Black River. We have infrastructure issues that are more towards Port Huron. We have pipeline issues that are in a couple of communities. So it kind of goes and outlines those and allows the communities to kind of leapfrog off of that and apply for grants, such as East China is actually getting ready to do a program to lift up sewage pumps, because in the flooding they were underwater and stopped working. Another example would be on Harson's Island. The actual fire hydrants themselves were underwater. As soon as they would have cracked one of those, it would have spoiled the whole water supply. So they're able to actually apply for a grant to raise those up. Those are the types of things that you can apply for once you sign on to the grant itself. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I can take up a lot more time or answer questions.
Any questions for Russ?
I make motion to approve.
I will support with required edits. Second paragraph, this states the mission of the city of St. Clair includes the charge to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the people of Kimball Township. That's quite a charge.
That must have been from a sample that we provided.
I know.
Yeah, that was.
Other than that, I do support it.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, call the roll, please.
Kinsvater,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Kufa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Russ. Order B 2222, Transportation Economic Development Fund Category A Program, CBH Jordan Creek Drive. Right, yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is to apply for a Transportation Economic Development Fund Category A grant to reconstruct the streets within the industrial park, Christian B. Haas Drive and Jordan Creek Drive. Michigan Department of Transportation offers this grant program to communities that are looking to improve roadways that would promote economic growth or retain or create jobs within that vicinity of where that road work is taking place. We teamed up with the Economic Development Alliance of St. Clair County as well as engineering plastic components over in the industrial park. They have two facilities over there, one at Yankee Road, one down at the south end of the industrial park. They're looking to expand their business, possibly gain an additional 100 jobs over there. But they have said that if the roads aren't improved over there, that they may relocate some of their staff to a location out of state. So this is a good opportunity for the city and for the industrial park, the businesses in the industrial park, to go after this grant. There is a 25% match to the grant. Applications are due by November 30th. It was required to send in a notice of intent to MDOT just to see if MDOT would say that this is a project that they would be interested in potentially pursuing, I guess, or it would be something that would qualify for this grant. And they have given us the authorization to proceed forward with applying for a grant. That doesn't mean that we'll get a grant, but they said it is a viable project that they would consider. So basically, we just need to have a resolution along with the application here to be approved so that we can apply for this grant by November 30th.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll support that.
The motion is made, supported. Questions? I have one question, Ryan. This is the project that is a 25% match. And in our discussions with the industrial park out there, they understand that that may be in fact a special assessment to them.
That I'm not sure, I really haven't talked about special assessment. I guess I'm not sure if that would be a special assessment to them or not, but between either the city funding it or setting up a special assessment, there would be, our estimated cost of the project is roughly $1 million. So you'd be looking at a $250,000 match.
Yeah, our discussions with Bruce from the EDA is clear that the special assessment is the route.
Sure.
All right, any other questions? Call the roll.
Lehman,
Yes.
Kufa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Kinsvater,
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
Ryan. So number 6, Ports Administration, City Superintendent, what do you have?
I have nothing new to add from my weekly council updates, other than the notice of a special meeting tomorrow at 6 o'clock to conduct city superintendent interviews.
Any questions? Okay. Mr. Attorney, do you have anything tonight?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Any questions for Jim? City departments, our deputy clerk has something.
Yes, thank you. Absentee applications can be obtained at City Hall during normal business hours for the November 8th election. And that's all that I have.
Thank you. Any authorities, boards, commissions, committees, council reps? Number 7, no unfinished business. Go to number 8, new business. Approved contract amendment for tri-hospital EMS services. Ken Cummings is here. Ken?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We have really two documents for you to consider tonight. The first one is an ambulance contract. In the course of preparing the second document to bring to you, which essentially would amend the compensation clause within the ambulance contract itself, which would allow us to capture the millage dollars that were voted in by the citizens during the August primary, I discovered that we don't have a contract to amend with the city of St. Clair. I'm not sure how that happened, but over the years we had many different ways in which ambulance service contracts were written back in the 80s and early 90s. these, and for some reason, St. Clair fell off the radar. Now, I assure you, we've been providing your service, never been an issue. We'll continue to do that, so it's really not more than a formality, if you will. But again, we need to approve the contract, and then the second step would be to approve the amendment, which I've provided to you as well. And the amendment essentially would provide for the compensation of the millage dollars that were approved by voters and will be allocated to the city of St. Clair sometime next year through the county. So happy to answer any questions for you, but that's really it in a nutshell.
You have to vote on these separately.
It can be done together.
All right.
We
We
can do it
can,
together.
we can do both together.
I'll make a motion to approve them both.
Support.
All right, questions? Call the roll, please.
Kufa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Kinsvater,
Yes.
Kleeman, Cedar,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
B, authorized waste management agreement.
Yes, Your Honor. Negotiations with our current provider, Waste Management, were successful to extend the current agreement for 1 year with a nominal 3% increase. This is below the anticipated 7 to 10% increase. The original contract does include a 90-day notice to allow possibility to bid that out and move forward in the foreseeable future, if you so choose. For now, it is the recommendation to approve the agreement as presented.
So moved.
Or
Questions? All right, call the roll, please.
Laporte,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Kinsvater,
yes.
Kleeman, Kufa,
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. C, temporary sign variance.
Oh, yes, I'll take this one too, Your Honor. At a recent council meeting, a special event application was approved that included banners to advertise the event, and additional banners and signage has been requested. So in front of you is the details of those banners and amount of banners, and a temporary sign variance is needed by council because of the location down in the courtyard. So it is recommended to approve the variance that would allow, I believe it's
5 by 10.
four signs for Halloween nights and 5 signs for Christmas market. It has been reviewed by code enforcement. That memo is included in your packet. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we're looking for a approval to approve the temporary sign variance.
So moved.
I got one question on that. It says
Yes.
on here for 30 days.
So Halloween nights, yes, because it's the month of October.
Total permit is only for 30
Or is it 30 days per sign? Is that what you're
days. I'm
asking?
just asking.
Oh, it is a total of 30 days for placement of the
When does
sign.
the 30 days start?
It would start immediately. But it would be over October 31st, so it
So-
wouldn't actually be 30 days.
So the signs are gonna come down the 1st of December, basically.
1st of November for Halloween nights, yes.
Any other questions?
I'll support it. I don't think anybody supported that yet.
Correct.
All right, motion made, supported. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
D, special events, 7th Street Charity Block Party. Chief?
I received a request for the annual charity event up on the 700 block of 7th Street for November 12th, from 5 to 12. I have all the paperwork. If you do notice on the original application, they checked that the city would clean up. We're not going to clean up, they're going to clean up. And police and security, there's not going to be police assigned to the event. We'll police it while we're policing the rest of the city. But other than that, I would recommend we approve it.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Chief. All right, number 9, claims and accounts, September 22, 29, 2022. Any questions?
Hearing none, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve as presented.
Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will go to number 10, public questions and comments. Anybody have any non-agenda items? And I'll ask for 3 minutes. Okay, this is folks.
But I'll start with this. I'm Jill Yakum. I live at 1210 Oakwood Lane. Here's a petition from our subdivision, and I have photos that I'd like all of you to take a look at. And the reason why we're here tonight is we would like to know where we are on the list in getting our roads repaved. So I hand you those photos. Those are taken by me. I'm not the best, but I did the best I could. And I had a wonderful conversation with Annette, and I want to thank her because during our conversation, she kind of said, Jill, I need to stop. I want to come down your street to see what you're talking about. And she was so kind. She came down our street, called me back, and said, I definitely can see what you're talking about. I have many of my neighbors here with me tonight, and they might want to have a question or two that maybe I'm not asking. In talking with Annette, Oakwood Lane, Hugo, Jackson is on a list that says we're in poor condition, but we're not on any type of list that I think exists to be redone. So I guess my question to all of you is, when can we expect our streets in Oakwood Lane, Jackson, Hugo to be redone? The sub is 41 years old, and we've had nothing done. And I take my dad home every night, and I go through the Highlands, and of course I had a detour there because they just got their streets resurfaced. I walk every day, went over to Delano. They just got their street resurfaced. Those subs are a fraction of how old our sub is. But you still accumulated tax dollars for 41 years from our sub, and their subs are half our age. It doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm here, just to bring it to your attention. Welcome all of you to take a drive down Oakwood Lane and let us know what you think. The curbs are Slow drive down. slow down. Yeah, it's very slow. And of course, over the past 10 years, I've talked to Mike Booth, I've talked to Rusty, and I kept getting the same thing. Well, we don't have the money. You're not on the list. Your road's not that bad. Well, it is. And if you can tell by the pictures, in some of the sewer grades are sinking right past D. Boyer's home. You took a measuring stick. That's one picture I didn't get. It's at least 5 inches sunken in, and it's just becoming a mess. Now, they did do the little cul-de-sac where my home is because it was crumble. And I kind of thought to myself, not that we're not appreciative of it, you had all the equipment out there. It's a straight shot. Why didn't you just finish the street? Well, then, when I called and asked, they said, well, your curbs need to be redone. Oh, okay. So if the reason why we're not getting our streets done because we have curbs and they're so bad and that costs more money, why wouldn't you allocate 2 streets and put them to the back of the list and put the street that really needs it to the top? That's just my thought. So I would appreciate any answers that you have for me. I'm all new to this, but a street is a street, and you know how bad it is. And Dee has mentioned several times that the concrete probably wasn't the best that was used back in that time when the sub was being built. There's a section in front of 750 Oakwood Lane that they came and cut out in front of John's house to figure out how deep the asphalt was. They said they'd come back and fill it. It's been 9 years, and it's still cut out. So I think we all feel that our sub just keeps getting overlooked. We don't know why. It's a great sub. We all pay our taxes. It's beautiful. We take care of our homes. They're our investment. But we've got a crap road. It's awful. My dad has a walker. You can't even take a walker. We don't have sidewalks. You want to take a walk, you take your life in your hands, especially when it gets icy, because all the potholes fill and ice over. So it's just been a long haul. I've been there for 24 years, and it's been this constant phone call, and it's getting old. And we keep getting assessed, and nothing gets done in our sub, and we don't know why. They keep putting Band-Aids on something, and now it's to the point of no repair. So instead of fixing it when you could have, now the whole thing needs to be done, including the curbs. So I don't know if my photos helped you at all to get a visual of what's going on there, but that's where we're at. So, and I don't know if anyone else from the sub? Oh, no outlet on Hugo. Many of the people that signed the petition that live on Hugo would like a dead-end sign or no outlet sign put on that street. They have a lot of issues with trucks trying to turn around in there and so forth. And I don't think, was there any other questions, guys? My whole crew's here. Well, I hope so. I think I know most of all of you, but I just think, you know, I'm very black and white and very old school. I wouldn't be here. You know, I understand it's all about money, but, you know, we keep putting money into our residents, our homes. We want our neighborhood to be nice. And basically, our streets and our roads are the ecosystem of a town, of a city. So we just want to know when Oakwood Lane or Oakwood Sub, Jackson, Hugo, is going to get done. We keep getting shoved off, and I don't know why the Highlands got done before we did. That's twice as many feet, if I'm correct, Dee, what they just redone. So why did they get on the top of the list? That sub's maybe what, 20 some years old? Ours is 41. Why did those monies go to them and not Oakwood Lane, I guess is my big question.
Number one, Jill, thank you, number one, for being here and being the spokesman, because you're doing a good job, number one. Yeah, you're doing a good job.
They don't want me to run for office, I don't know. Crazy.
So unfortunately, and I'm not going to like this answer, but I seriously
know.
can't give you a date of when your vote will be done.
Of course you're not. But I do know from talking with Annette that our street isn't, like, don't you have like a projection, like what streets are getting done next year? Do you have that answer?
Well, let me just kind of step
Sure.
back and try to address many of the things that
Sure.
you said and asked, okay? So we
Sure.
have what is called a PASER study done by our engineers, okay?
She did talk to me about that.
And we're going to have another one
Yes,
done
sir.
shortly, actually, because we are in the process of trying to reevaluate roads.
Great.
Here's the problem that we have, and you hit the nail right on the head, is when the voters approved, I think it was 5 years ago now, the millage for the roads.
Right.
They gave us, we ended up with 2.49 rate.
Okay.
Which generates a little under $1 million a year, which sounds like a ton of money, but when you take $1 million and if you have to do a total redo on a road, you're going to get about 10 blocks done. So every year we look at the PASER ratings, and then we look
Right.
at, then we go out, and I've been through your sub many times.
Okay, then you know.
Yeah, and, but I have to tell you straight up, if you go drive 4th Street or 5th Street from Clinton to where the end of the north, you'll be just as upset. And
Right.
we don't like it either. We wish we had more money to spend.
Right. And I certainly understand their plight as well.
Sure.
And it's too bad that they're not here. But I guess my point is, again, we'll get to that question, is why was Delano and the Highlands done before my street?
So when we talk to our engineer, we look at the PASER rating, we talk about the condition of the road, the volume of traffic on the road, and then we go to our DPW guy and we ask, get us some numbers to find out
Okay.
if it's a total redo or if it's just a mill and fill. A mill and fill is much cheaper than a total redo. So then we have to look at how much traffic goes on a road. If we do the mill and fill, what's the cost compared to a total redo? And it's significant. So then we go out and look at the roads.
Right.
And we try to help, and then we have to look at this. Then we have to look at, say, there's 3 wards. How much should we spend in the first ward? How much should we second,
Right.
third? And the
But
first
actually,
ward,
nothing's been spent in our ward, on our street, in our
well, not on
sub.
your
I
street,
should
but
say our
Goff Street
whole
was a $1
sub.
million project last year.
Okay.
And if you go down to Goff Street and go from Palmer north, that's not even been touched. We only went Palmer south, and that was $1 million. If
Right.
you go to 3rd Street from Mulberry to Trumbull, it's a mess. Cass Street from 3rd to 6th, mess. Witherell, 9th to 10th,
Okay,
terrible.
so those were complete tear-outs, is what
We
you're saying?
haven't even
that-
touched them yet.
Okay, but is that why they didn't get done?
It could- that-
And the Highlands did and Delano?
Yeah, Hines was just a mill and fill. So we try to get the best bang for a buck at the same time looking at how bad is it, and then trying to think over the winter, is a orange road going to become a red road because of whatever happened? So that's why I can't say to you right now, Jill, in 1 year your road will be done, because
Right.
your road may deteriorate quick and we may have to move you up the list.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We would like our roads to get moved up the list, because it's really bad, and truly, if you know who I am, Michael, I wouldn't be here.
No, I
I
understand
wouldn't be
completely.
here if I
Yeah.
wasn't really passionate about what's going on here, and to think, you know, I know you guys have allocated dollars for different things that need to get done on streets, but it just behooves all of us that we all pay our taxes, you know, and the sub is 41 years old, and it's like, wait a minute, nothing ever gets done on Oakwood sub. Talking with people who have lived there for close to that long.
And I don't mean this as a joke, I really
I know.
don't, but if you go right on 4th and 5th Street and listen to those people,
They'll say the same
that
thing.
you're gonna think your road's pretty good. And I know it's not. I'm not trying to make light of it at all, because we take this serious, because we know we've got numbers to work with, and we have to get as much as we can
Okay.
done. I will tell you this, I appreciate all of you coming here.
Right.
I appreciate your patience, and I'm just going to tell you, we're going to do the new PASER rating, and that will help council. Council will have some workshops, and we'll have to talk about this kind of thing, because we are limited resource-wise.
Okay. But in the PASER, does the city pay for that company to come out and do your rating?
Ryan, do you charge us for this?
The city did get grant money to do the PASER rate.
See, we try to get grant money so we can save our people money.
I just want to make sure that you didn't miss our sub. That's what I'm,
No, it's on here.
that's where I'm getting at, okay? Because if you're getting paid to do it, I want to know that you came down my street, knock on my door and say, I just came down. Because something is off. I truly just can't believe that it just keeps getting shoved aside. And I know you're saying there's other streets that are worse, probably, but other streets are getting done before us, and that's why we're here. We want you to be aware.
We are, and
draw
and we will be
attention.
having
That's all.
workshops in the near future, and we will not forget that you were here.
I won't let you.
No. I see you everywhere.
I know you do. Okay, does anyone else have a question? Oh, great.
All right, come up to the microphone, give us your name.
Real quick.
Wait, D. Oh, no, okay, D, go ahead.
This is just something that I wanted to say. D. Bowlers, 1110 Oakwood. You know, ours need curbing, but I don't know that you can't mill and fill that street. Probably you guys don't know it, but it's 6 inches of asphalt. There's no aggregate underneath that street, and it's held up, still there 41 years later. So I'm just thinking, and Ryan, AEW may be able to check it out, if they did a saw cut the asphalt, foot inside the curb, they maybe could do the curbing, mill the street down 3 inches and fill it. And that would suffice.
Thank you.
You know, that's the only thing that I can think of.
All right, thanks, D.
Evening, Ed Skelly, 1918 Jackson. I just got back in, so I wasn't able to join in the pre-planning on this, but you mentioned something that was pretty important, and you said volume, road traffic. So I was here a couple years ago complaining about speed down Jackson. As we know, it can be a pretty popular bypass for the intersection of Clinton and Kearney. So, and I remember you came out, Your Honor came out to the house, we talked a little bit. Police chief came out, talked to some neighbors, said, yeah, 50% of people think there's a problem, 50 people that don't. Had some patrols out there, thank you. Has actually strayed a lot. My son came back from high school and said, there's always a cop at the end of your street now, so they stopped taking the shortcut. So it was effective. But as you get ready to go into this paver study, I think there's a few things that probably need to be taken into consideration. Number one, as noted in the letter from the police chief to me through official correspondence as a result of that, Jackson is designated as an overflow street for the backup of Clinton and Kearney. That was briefed in the plan. So when that traffic backs up at that four-way stop, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Chief, it's official correspondence, so maybe there's a record somewhere, I didn't bring my copy. Jackson is designed to be the release of that traffic out towards Clinton. So one, the city's already acknowledged that there's an increase in volume on that street, and Oakwood's attached to Jackson. Secondly, you have the new development on Kearney. And Mike, I believe in your report, you said how many driveways are now entering out into Kearney. So you're going to have a further increase at the four-way stop of Clinton and Kearney. Secondly, you have the consolidation of the East China and now the school district going from the middle school to the high school. That's going to bring more people from the area up through that intersection, increasing the volume in the Oakwood subdivision. All right, as you can see from the construction that's happened, and I know people that live down in Sinclair and on Oakwood, just like you guys got to get everybody that wants to bypass flying down the street.
40.
So the traffic is there. Mike, we already had complaints about speeding. We've already had complaints about volume, right? I know that 5th and 4th and 5th aren't in good condition, but I don't think they get near enough the volume that we get or we're going to get, right? So one of the things that we haven't had anything come out on is the East China School District, part of their bond, what their traffic study plan is. What's going to happen at the intersection of Clinton and Kearney? How's it going to change? It's, once again, it's an East China School District issue, but it's happening on St. Clair City roadways. So with the increase in volume, Jackson being designed as an overflow, you have a four-way stop, and all of us that are undergoing the construction at Fredmore right now can already see the increase of cars coming down, bypassing that, and then going up into Delano and coming around and bypassing that four-way stop. Those elements need to be taken into consideration in your paver study. It doesn't need to be a special tax assessment, because I've lived in this subdivision for 7 years, and I've had my taxes raised over 3 times. One time, my market value was put up, and I took it up with the tax board, to a value that wasn't even marketable of my house, over $360,000. And that was pre-COVID. So the money's been there. St. Clair has assessed me properly for a road that has been cut up, on Jackson at least, every 50 feet. There's a band every 50 feet down that road. And it's nice that we're constructing on Fredmore, but if you haven't stopped at Clinton to make a left or right on Kearney, you haven't seen a bad section of road. Fredmore and might have been a little bit bad, not as bad as that pothole that's sitting in the middle of Clinton and Kearney intersection. It's huge. As a matter of fact, I can't tell if it's 125 or 50. It's just one giant cutout. So those are my comments. But
Thank
the
you,
volume's
Ed.
there.
Thank you, Ed. It's good to see you again. All right, anybody else?
Yeah, not related to this, but okay.
Yeah, we do other stuff too.
I have a comment on this, though. Comment. When he gets up to the podium.
Hello, my name is Zach Club. I've been here before, about Cox Road. I'm just coming here, I came here, I think it was in February. I'm asking about reconstructing Cox Road or just putting a walkway in. For the kids for school, mostly for the kids for school. I wasn't planning on coming in yet. I was gonna give you guys a year and then come in again. Cause I'm in this industry, I know how long this stuff takes. So I was gonna give you a year, but then Wednesday went for my morning run and I got hit by a car because I had nowhere to go. And they didn't, and like school was, it was like 6:50. Those buses and cars and everything, there was a lot of cars and stuff. So I decided, you know what, maybe I'll cut that year a little short. And so I decided to come in and see about what kind of update you guys have. It's bad. And there was nowhere, I'm a grown man and I have a light and everything. And imagine a kid that doesn't know any better about anything or doesn't see it coming or doesn't have a light. Cause there's a lot of kids on there that don't have reflectors or lights or anything. And they're walking in the ditch and there's just nowhere for us to go.
So Zach, I remember the last time you were here, we talked about 2 years previous when the city of St. Clair applied for a grant to put a sidewalk down the west side of Cox Road, and we tried to get the East China School District and St. Clair Township involved because that really isn't even our property.
Correct.
But we were willing to participate, and they shut us down. And if I remember correctly, at that time I told you, or I asked you to, get in touch with the county, the St. Clair Township and the East China School District. Have you had any luck with them?
I've tried the county. I've tried the township. The township doesn't want to talk to me like details because I'm not one of their citizens, I guess. I've also tried to talk to the school district. Nothing. They got nothing. You guys are the only ones I've been able to talk to. County hasn't answered me.
Well, we are good listeners, right? Okay, so Zach, I know your heart's in this thing, so here's what I'm going to tell you is that basically, number one, that's not our property, but I do understand what you're saying because I taught that school for 30 years and I drove that road to get there every day, and I know it's dark and you can't see half the people that are walking along it.
Right.
I'm going to ask our city administration to do some exploration into possible grants, and then maybe if we get a grant in the back pocket, maybe you and I or whoever can go back to these 3 entities, county, township, school, and say, look, we've got some money to do this. If we all share in the wealth, maybe we can do it.
Well, and I came back a second time gave you guys some information about money to use. Probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 different options. And Mr. Voles actually texted me and told me that we were able to use a few of them.
So I met with the County Road Commission over the summer regarding Cox Road. They were exploring rights of way and looking at possibilities of pathways along there and where it could go, where it would fit. Also talked to administration of East China Schools. I don't know that they're super interested in putting a lot of money toward this right now, based on what my conversation informally. But I mean, there's TAP grants. That was what was mentioned to me at the Road Commission, but we had to wait for a new fiscal year. Here we are.
Yeah, so what I'm hoping is that grant that we got before, maybe we can get back in line and try to get it again, because to me it was pretty significant.
Yeah, I think the cost was going to be, well, the rough estimate was to go from the corner of Clinton and Cox to the new subdivision there, which that name of that road, is it Mallard? Is that the one that goes in there? The new subdivision that's off of Cox? Woodland.
Oh, Woodland Estates.
Yeah. That street, to take it just to a crosswalk that far, at least some kind of a pathway, and they were talking about $100,000 or more for that. Just rough estimate, that distance.
Yeah.
And only on one side of the road.
And unfortunately, the road isn't just let's slap a sidewalk on it.
No, that's the problem. We have to go in the distance that we need to go into the property is part of the problem, because it's deep ditches on both sides.
Well, in the county, I believe their right of way is 30 feet off center line on those 2-lane roads.
Yeah.
So it'd be like in my front yard, but I mean,
I think you live on the east side, though,
right?
Yeah.
The goal was to go on the west side of this of it.
Hey, anywhere it goes, I don't
for
care.
the majority of it through the property of the school, and then into the trailer community there, and then possibly cross over a crosswalk or something.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess that's not even the worst of it from that.
But that would get the majority of the pedestrian traffic.
Yes, it could, I guess, because there are a lot of kids that come out of that trailer park and go to school. I don't necessarily see a lot of people come out. Not to say that I'm standing there all morning.
I will say in their defense, there is a gravel pathway from the trailer community to the high school, deeper on the property.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that.
But kids don't always use it.
Right.
And it doesn't get plowed in the winter.
Right.
So.
And so I'm just here. I've offered my help. I do this for a living. I build roads, so I know how all this goes. That's why I was going to give it a year, because I know how long it takes. But I came back with information, and then I'm just looking for an update.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be attacked, because here we are. We're starting a new school year. I wasn't expecting it to happen in 2 months after I brought it up. That wasn't my intention. But now that we're starting a new school year, and then however many years from now we're putting the middle school over there, that's a lot of kids.
Well, as I said, Zach, I'm going to have Annette contact Kurt Weston from the County Road Commission.
Okay.
I'm going to lean on Mike for some of this again, and we're going to try to find out if we can resubmit for that grant, and if we can get anywhere with that. And maybe if we can, maybe we can get into the county and the township, and I don't know about the school, but
Yeah,
maybe.
but something needs to happen with the school district. I'm not trying to make this a deal, but there's missing elements that are gonna play into this situation or the other situation, traffic study. This was brought up when I brought up the traffic issue in 2018. I said, someone's gonna get hit at that corner, a kid going to school. Thank God that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Sorry it happened to you.
No, it's all right.
All right, Zach, thank you again. I mean, I feel like the Wizard of Oz. I'm not giving anybody anything they want, but.
No, that's all right, as long as I bring it up again. I mean, it's been 8 months, so I thought I'd bring it up again now that I get hit by a car, so.
Thank you.
I do know that, so last time I came in, I work with MDOT a lot, right? I'm building 75 down in Royal Oak right now. So I work with MDOT a lot, and I asked him about what they would do about a road that they don't even own. He said nothing. He said, but there are grants and things like that, because I told him what I was planning on doing. And he said, there's a school on the road? He said, yeah, and there's actually the safe route to school. So MDOT will get involved. I mean, it's a school, so they'll actually get involved with it. So that it's not like you can just exclude them completely. MDOT will.
You talked to a guy from MDOT?
Yeah, I work with a lot of MDOT guys.
Well, maybe we would want that name.
Okay, yeah.
That might help us.
Yeah, I can give you guys a name.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
3 minutes, right?
As best you can.
Yeah, in 2020.
Give us your name and address, please.
Oh, okay. I'm Patrick Minnick. I live on Oakwood Lane. I haven't hurt myself in any holes, but I can see them. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm talking about electric vehicle charging in St. Clair. In 2020, I bought an electric car, and I was so excited because I could park it down there at the river, go to yoga, come back, be all charged up. It doesn't work. And as of today, it still doesn't
The one at the
work.
scenic turnout?
Excuse me?
Is that
Yeah, at the
scenic
scenic turnaround. And people have told me it's been broken for a long time before I got my car. Well, now I'm on my second electric car. It still doesn't work. We've got two in town. There's one across from Riverside
Does that one work?
in the harbor. Works great.
Okay.
That one has been broken, and somebody said, why don't you do something about it? And I said, okay. And I went to City Hall, talked to a young lady. I said, hey, who do I talk to about this? And she goes, well, let me find out. She came back. She goes, nobody's here. We don't know anything about it. Well, then I called ChargePoint, the manufacturer. They go, we've got them all over the country. We've got them all over North America. We don't service them. We sell them to you. So if somebody could look into that, it'd be
We absolutely will. Thank you.
a beautiful thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick. Anybody else? All right, then I'm going to move to number 11. Oh, I'm sorry. There was somebody else. Here you go.
I just want to make a comment regarding the list that Jill was referencing. There is no official list, so we don't get 100 calls tomorrow to say, you know, when is my road getting done? What we were talking about is in tandem with the Pazer study that was done in February of 2021, there is an asset management plan. It is a proposal. There's a draft of the next 5 years with different streets around town, how much they would cost, just as an idea, and one of the tools in the toolbox for council to consider when we have special meetings and determine what roads to do the next year. So there is no official list.
But you did tell me that Oakwood.
Yes,
So.
that is correct.
Not even on there.
Correct. Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yes. So it's a reference, but I just wanted to clarify that again, so City Hall doesn't get 100 calls tomorrow.
Okay. We're going to get 100 calls. You'll be their spokesperson, probably. Where do I get that girl? All right, we'll go to number 11 then. I have two quick things. Number one, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, we are interviewing two potential candidates for city superintendent. Council, try to remember that they have requested confidentiality. Keep that in mind. Number two, all you people, thank you very much. You were very courteous and kind, and we're listening. Please don't think we're just sitting here just looking at you. We're listening.
There was one question that really didn't get answered, and I think because I was like going on, what about getting a sign for Hugh County?
I think I saw Annette write that down.
Did you write it down? Okay,
I did.
Just wanted to make sure. I know.
Anybody else have anything up here? Thanks again, you guys.
Hearing,
Yeah, no, I have one. Just, you're all invited to the homecoming parade on this Sunday at 5 p.m. for St. Clair High School. And the reason I mention it is because the grand marshal for the parade this year is none other than Paul Dingeman, who works with Channel 6 all the time. And I hope his wife will be riding with him in the car, too, with Mary Ellen. So congratulations to Paul and Mary Ellen.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
That's cool.
hearing that, Your Honor, if there's nothing else, I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone. Be careful going home. Watch the streets.